the best value whiskey of 2025, according to the OSWAs. So the OSWAs have come and gone. It is the Online Scotch Whisky Awards. They have chosen their best budget-friendly whiskey for 2025. So what I'll be doing today, I'll be sharing the category with you, sharing the winners with you, and I'll be sharing how I would have ranked them myself. Stick around. What's up, guys? Jeff coming to you from the 18, and today we're going to be talking about the best value whiskey for 2025 according to the OSWAs. So if you don't know what the OSWAs are, they're the Online Scotch Whisky Awards. They're put together by Roy over at the Aquavite channel and Ralphie at the Whiskey Bothy channel, and they are by far the most democratic and transparent whiskey awards in the world, and honestly, they're the only ones that I really care about. And yeah, this will just be a fun little video where I go over the winner, I talk about the nominees, and I share with you how I personally would have ranked them. Not that anybody asked. This list will be in ascending order of deliciousness, and number one will be the deliciousiest of all the whiskeys and what I personally would have chosen as whiskey of the year from the nominees put forward. Again, not that anybody asked. Before we get started, I'm going to share the actual results from the OSWAs with you guys. So in last place, we had the Thompson Brothers Mystery Malt Series. In fifth place, we had Benromach 10. Fourth place, we had Glencadam 10. Third place was Ardnamurchan Sherry. Second place was Craigellachie 13. And first place was the Signatory 100 Proof line. Interesting group of whiskeys. Now, before we get into my list, my rankings, as usual, it is a G Whiskey video. I do have a mystery pour in the glass with me here. This is something that I think would have fit in very nicely in the budget-friendly banger category, which is what we're covering today. So it did not show up on the list this year, but had it shown up, it would have fit right in. Had it shown up, it would have fit right in. Yeah. And I think that is it for our intro, so let's not waste any more time. Here is how I would have ranked this year's nominees for Best Value Whiskey in the OSWAs 2025. In the meantime, if you will kindly leave a like down below, that'd be greatly appreciated. All right, at the back of this list, right out the gate, I have never tried anything from the Thompson Brothers Mystery Malt series. It is a series, so it's not an individual bottle. I've never seen it in my market. I have no experience with the line whatsoever. So I don't know. And interestingly, this is not the only series of whiskeys to show up as an option in the best value category this year. So makes it a little bit difficult. How do you rank an entire line, an entire series of whiskeys? Yeah, confusing times. All right, the top five I have actually tried. So at the back of this list, at number 5, we have Benromach 10, which is a whiskey that I actually quite like. Interestingly, the public also voted this as number 5 out of the options. And yeah, like I said, I do like this one. I like everything on this list. I think everything on this list makes sense here. I think it deserves to be here, and they're all good whiskeys. But the reason for me that Benromach comes in at number 5 is that I do find it a little bit light. Now, this whiskey comes in at, I believe, 43%. And it is, you know, it's delicious. It's got great flavors. I absolutely love the 15-year-old, which is also at 43%. But that one has more of a rich, lush, sherried influence. So I don't really feel the lightness. But for the 10, I often find myself wishing for a little bit more bite, a little bit more ABV. And listen, I've softened my stance in the last few years. I really don't mind when whiskeys are 43% if they nail the flavors, and I don't really feel that lightness. And there are plenty of whiskeys where I don't, but this is one of those ones where, yeah, I just want it to be punchier, but it is still a very good whiskey. Comes in at number 5, Benromach 10. Coming in at number 4, we have the Signatory 100 Proof line. Again, how do you put an entire line? How do you rank an entire line of whiskeys? By their very nature, they're not going to be completely consistent across the board. So certainly we're generalizing here. Now this won the category. So this was the people's favorite value whiskey or series of value whiskeys for 2025. Yeah, I don't quite agree with that. And listen, I definitely get the appeal of this line. So it's an IB brand. We're getting a good ABV. These are craft presented, so non-chill filtered, natural color. I believe all, if not definitely most of these are age stated, and we get a whole variety of distilleries in there, some of them on the more obscure side, so we get to try different things. It's a cool concept, and in execution, a lot of them are genuinely delicious. But really, I think the big selling point here is the price, because these are quite affordable for what you're getting. Yeah, the price is definitely right. which is something that we as consumers very much appreciate at this point in time. So it's definitely not hard to understand why this line has skyrocketed in popularity over the last, I want to say, year or so. Now, I obviously haven't tried them all. ChatGPT tells me there's at least, what, like 78 individual bottlings. Ain't nobody got time for that. But I have tried quite a few, and how do you rank an entire series? That is the question. I would say this, for the most part, the whiskey is solid. I've had a few that have been underwhelming, and I've had a few that I thought were really, really nice. But the vast majority of the ones I've tried fell in the middle. The Macallan that everyone talks about was nice. Didn't blow me away, but it was very nice. I think there was a Linkwood in there that I enjoyed. Maybe. I think my biggest issue with the line is that it is a very modern, very cask-dominated, very sherry-forward style of whiskey in most cases. And I have not had that many bottles. The ones I have had, I don't know, they tasted kind of samey, if that makes any sense. There's nothing wrong with being cask forward, and there's nothing wrong with being, you know, a modern sherry-dominated style of whiskey, but it's just not necessarily my preferred style of whiskey. It might be yours. Either way, I'm putting it at number 4. 4 seems like a nice number. How do you rank an entire range? I don't know. Signatory 100 proof at number 4. At number 3 is a whiskey that I have loved for a very long time, and that is Glencadam 10. And I will be perfectly honest, Glencadam 10 is not that complex. It's not even that interesting if you don't appreciate the core style. But I do. This whiskey gives us something that is bright, it's clean, it's floral, it's distillate driven, and most importantly, it is a very well-priced whiskey. It is a very reasonably priced bottle, and you know, that's not something you see every day in the whiskey world, certainly not in this style. Most entry-level whiskeys will at least have a touch of sherry cask influence, or, you know, some virgin, I don't know, some kind of cask thing where it really isn't just the distillate talking. This one is Glencadam's distillate on full display, and I appreciate that. Especially in summer. As I said, it's got that clean, vivid, bright, kind of summery style to it. So it's just sort of like that brainless, go-to sipper, guilt-free. I love sitting out on the porch. I don't own a porch. I love sitting out on the porch in the summer with a glass of Glencadam 10. Almost refreshing in a way. Comes in at number 3. Coming in at number 2, we have Ardnamurchan Sherry Cask. This one came out a couple years ago. I believe it is an annual batch release. It is rich, it is lush, it is sherry forward, it is gently peated. It comes in at a very healthy 50%. It's fully craft, a little bit of everything in there. However, I will admit, I don't love this quite as much, not quite as passionately as a lot of other people do. Bit of a theme here, but I wish there was more distillate coming through, because I do feel like the sherry cask is slightly heavy-handed. It's not even that heavy-handed. It's just that I love that Ardnamurchan distillate, and I do prefer their bottles where it shines a little bit brighter. But the sherry cask they use here, again, they're very lush, so solid. And to be fair, the brand has loads of options for people like me. If I want something distillate forward, their standard AD stuff, their Palanois, their cask strength stuff, that's all much more distillate forward. So I really can't complain. It absolutely makes sense that they have something that is rich and sherry, you know, cask driven. And I do think they nailed it. I think they have a great cask selection. I think they have excellent cask play. So yeah, great release. Love it. Might have a pour later. Ardnamurchan AD. Sherry. Cask. All right, finally, we've reached number 1. This will be a surprise to precisely no one who has watched the channel before. This is a whiskey that I've been screaming about for ages. This was my first whiskey of the year on the channel all the way back in, when did I start? 2020, 2021, years ago. And I've loved it ever since, and I pretty consistently talk about it, and that's Craigellachie 13. This whiskey is a little bit rugged. It is a little bit unpretty. There is a certain almost meatiness to it. There's grilled pineapple. There's grilled pineapple in here, guys. But yeah, it is a very distinctive and characterful whiskey. It is bolder, and it is potentially much more challenging than a lot of other entry-level single malts out there. But I think it is equally as rewarding. So yeah, it can be a divisive one, and it's not something that I would necessarily offer to beginners. But if you have an understanding of whiskey, and if you want something that's a little bit different, a little bit punchier, Could not recommend this one more. It is one of my favorite affordable whiskeys of all time. I'm glad to see it showing up in the OSWAs more and more. I think it's the second time that it was nominated, and it almost won. I think it was number 2, right behind that Signatory 100 proof line. Definitely would have been my pick, though. Gorgeous whiskey. All right, that was my list, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. And of course, this is the part where I want to hear from you guys. So did you submit any options for the OSWAs this year? Did you vote for any bottles? And if so, what were they? Also, how do you feel about the OSWAs this year? Do you agree with the rankings? Do you agree with my rankings? How would you rank them yourselves? So many questions. Are you getting enough sleep? Are you eating your vegetables? Are you okay? Leave all of that down below in the comments. And for those of you who stuck around to find out what the mystery pour in the glass is, I mentioned that this would fit in very nicely in this category, and it's a whiskey that I have been praising for several years, again, on the channel. What I'm drinking is Tamdhu 12. Now, this whiskey is on the lighter side. It comes in at 43%. But it is a very delicate and I think very well composed whiskey. It falls on the affordable side of the Tamdhu line. Again, I think they have very good cask selection, cask management, and it is one that I always recommend to people who enjoy a nice, high quality sherried whiskey. And that'll bring us to the end of today's video, guys. Thank you very much for watching. If you want to help support the channel, I will put Patreon and PayPal down below. I've got the patrons over there. You are more than welcome to join them. And I guess we'll catch you in the next video. Bye, guys.